Good day, and welcome to Q2FY23 earnings conference call of Meghmani Finechem Limited, hosted by Go India Advisors. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Kruti Patel from Go India Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, Kruti.
Thank you, Neerav. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Q2 FY23 earnings of Meghmani Finechem Limited. We have on the call Mr. Maulik Patel, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Kaushal Toparkar, Managing Director, Mr. Sanjay Jain, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. B. Ravi, Strategy Consultant, and Mr. Milind Kotecha, Investor Relations Officer. We must remind you that the discussion on today's call may include certain forward-looking statements and must be therefore viewed in conjunction with the risks that the company faces. May I now request Mr. Maulik to take us through the financials and the business outlook, subsequent to which we will open the floor for Q&A. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Kruti. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the call to discuss MFL's Q2 FY23 performance. I trust you had the opportunity to run through the earnings presentation, which was shared earlier today. The chemical industry, in line with global markets, has witnessed cooling off on account of steps taken by the central banks to cool off the inflation. In line with that, prices of many chemicals have dropped, but the chemicals which are based on energy as a raw material are still at elevated price considering the energy crisis in Europe. In case of caustic soda, ECU is high on account of energy crisis due to the reduction in chlorine consumption in the global market, and output of caustic soda also has reduced. Similarly, on account of high natural gas prices, even realizations of hydrogen peroxide has moved up. In the first half of FY23, we have commissioned all our committed expansions, epichlorohydrin, Cpvc resin, and additional capacity of caustic soda within the timeline and the capex limit. We have started receiving approval from customers for ECH and Cpvc, and we expect that the sizable volume of both these products should be visible by end of Q3 FY23 or starting of Q4 FY23. The capacity utilizations of the additional capacity of the caustic soda commission on 30th September should reach to its optimum in Q4 FY23. Even after the current market dynamics, we are confident to achieve the guidance that we had given for FY23. Expansion of chlorotoluene and its value chain is moving within the timeline and should be ready by Q4 FY24. In the first half of FY23, we had entered into the JV with Renew Green Energy Solutions to set up hybrid power plant to meet our energy requirements for existing as well as future projects. It is a step towards the contributing to the environment. With the commissioning of the new projects, we are moving in line with our strategy to strengthen our position as fully integrated company catering to diversified industry. From here on, we are further going to add downstream chemistries where chlorine, hydrogen, and other chemicals will be used as a raw material to further strengthen our integrated product positioning. Our focus is to identify molecules and the chemistries which will provide us better margins and are extension to our existing product portfolio. To this extent, we are setting up a dedicated R&D facility which will be ready by Q2 FY24. With our long-term vision and the future expansions in mind, we have invested in an additional piece of land in the Dahej, which is 2.89 lakh square meter land, and it is the close proximity to our existing plant. In Q2 FY23, we have redeemed preference shares of rupee 12 crores, and our target is to pay the full amount in 5 years' time by FY27. Now I will hand over the call to Mr. Sanjay Jain, our CFO, who will take you through the financials.
Thank you, Maulik. Good afternoon. Q2 FY23 was a very good quarter for the company, where company delivered a strong financial performance. We have seen a record high revenue of rupees 556 crore this quarter with a sales growth of 64% YOY basis. The growth in sales can be attributed to high realizations from all the products. For H1 FY23, chlor-alkali contributed 75% of revenue and derivative segment contributed 25% of the revenue. Chlor-alkali segment grew by 86% majorly on account of higher realization, and derivative segment grew on account of higher volumes as well as higher realization, particularly H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. In absolute term, EBITDA grew by 79% year-on-year basis and stood at rupees 180 crore with 32% margin on account of higher realizations. Our PAT grew by 95% year-on-year basis to rupees 92 crore with PAT margin at 16%. Capacity utilization for chlor-alkali stood 85%, chloromethane stood at 104%, and hydrogen peroxide stood at 97%. On YOY basis, our EC utilization for caustic soda and caustic potash was up by 77% and 120% respectively. Return of capital employed of the company improved to 37% from 29% in FY22, and return of investment improved to 50% from 36% in FY22. Our long-term debt has reduced to rupees 856 crore as on 30 September 22 compared to rupees 909 crore as on 31st March 22. This is even after new borrowing for the newly commissioned project. Consequently, the net debt to EBITDA ratio has significantly reduced to 1.3x in Q2 FY23 from 2.5x in Q2 FY22. This is just reflecting a better financial strength. With this, we can now open the floor for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Pratiksha Daftari from Equirus Investments. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to understand that on a quarter-on-quarter basis, our capacity utilization has gone down slightly. So how do we see this going ahead, and how does the demand look like for the rest part of the year?
Yes, Pratiksha, I think it's a great question, and currently in the world, in the chloro-alkali manufacturing and the chloro-alkali downstream manufacturing, in the world, Europe, US, even in Asia, the chlorine derivatives, which is 60% of the chlorine derivatives are PVC, TDI, MDI, and ECH kind of products, which is infrastructure related products in Europe and US. They are, because of the recession, it is not moving. But in the same time, the caustic soda demand is there. So if you see because of the energy price, high energy prices in the high energy prices, along with the Europe and US recession effect on the chlorine downstream, everyone wanted to produce more and more caustic soda. So this is a scenario right now, and the chlorine is in pressure. So because of that, the efficiency of the plant is not running, because chlorine you cannot store. If you are not able to sell the chlorine or consume the chlorine, you are not able to produce the caustic soda. So that's why in the world right now, if you don't have 100% utilization, or the caustic soda plants are running little lower capacity right now. But at the same time, the caustic prices are moving upward.
So what would be the realization for chlorine alone right now?
So in the chlorine right now in India, it is much higher. I think it is 8 to 10 rupees negative.
Okay, which I think was about 4 to 5 rupees negative sometime last quarter?
Yeah, so this is a little higher on site, but in the same time, when you have an integrated and captive consumption of chlorine, so it is on the advantage side,
Understood. Well noted. On prices front, I think we are hearing that international prices have started going up in last 1 month or so. Have we experienced similar trend in domestic prices?
So, as I mentioned, yes, definitely, India has the effect of the world market is going to slow down. Definitely, the prices of lot of chemicals are going down, except the caustic soda, which we see in majority of the chemicals, it is going down.
Okay. So domestic prices of caustic are stable at about 48,000 levels.
Yeah, no, that is the ECU. So the caustic soda level has in last couple of months, because of, I mentioned the reason, the downstream and derivatives are not moving upward. Because of that, the caustic soda internationally it is going up. That's why the Indian price is also moving around 60,000 around. So 48,000 which you are seeing, that is a net realization after removing the chlorine realization.
Okay. So caustic right now would be roughly 50,000.
60,000.
60,000.
Pratiksha, it's the ECU. When we say 48,000.
I get it. So 60,000 is caustic, and considering chlorine, it comes down to 4850.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And you said that apart from it's the downstream products that demand is getting impacted. So for caustic, demand is strong from which segment? Which sectors are driving demand for caustic alone?
See, if you see, caustic is very diversified industry. Definitely, in some of the country, it is alumina driven. So aluminum is one of the factors. But other than aluminum, like if you see in the western part of India, the major industry is completely diversification. It's the agro intermediate, pharma intermediate. In the world also, caustic is considered as many consumption, which is consumption-based chemicals also, like detergent also, like soap industries also, like P&G, Unilever. They are going to consume the caustic irrespective of anything, right? Because consumption, it is not going to go down. Same time, the paper industries, the water treatment chemical manufacturing in the world, everybody, there is no effect of recession, So they are doing great, and they are going to continuously consume the caustic soda which they are consuming. So because of that, I believe there is the disparity is there.
Understood. On power cost front, are we seeing any pressures there, or since the realizations have gone down, power cost is also expected to go down? I mean, I think what I understand, coal prices haven't fallen in that tandem. So
yeah, so the energy price is almost, it is at par with the world standard right now. So in last couple of quarters, there is not big change in terms of the energy. Yeah. So it has not reduced a lot. Again, it has not increased a lot also.
Okay. Understood. So we can expect those inflated costs to sustain for some time.
Frankly speaking, we have no idea till what time it is going to remain. But at least we can see that in next 1 quarter, definitely next 1 or 2 quarters, it is going to remain as it is. That's what we can see. We cannot forecast more than 6 months as of now.
Makes sense. In terms of ECH ramp up, that the capacity that we just commissioned, since most downstream product demand is getting affected, do we expect similar situation for ECH? And I just missed your opening commentary. How soon do we expect to scale up production here on this facility?
So the current situation, like we have mentioned in the last quarter as well, our ECH will be ramp up the capacity from the January onwards capacity, and we will optimize optimum level of we will reach by Q1, end of Q4, and then the Cpvc also we will ramp up from December of this Q3 onwards, and optimum level we will reach at Q1. So that we are stick to it, because many opportunity arise because of the European energy prices and the situation. Many downstream companies, it is not feasible, So the caustic soda price in Europe is such that many downstream chemical is becoming unviable also. So there are opportunities also in the Europe and US, and there are better realization also compared to Asia, because there are less manufacturers, and some of the end applications still demand has gone up.
Okay. And if you could give me any idea as to what are the ECH prices currently prevailing prices for ECH?
So currently the prevailing prices of ECH, it's So it is normally the ECH is going to be a contract-based prices. So we are right now discussing with index-based, contract-based pricing with the different customers in Europe and US. So definitely the realization on the contract-based prices are different than what I'm saying. It is what you can hear, the day-to-day prices of the commodity. But you can say that we can expect around 180 rupees kind of realization in terms of export, what we are going to do it in Europe and US from next year onwards.
Okay. And so this would be what you would contract at, right? These are not the prevailing prices.
Yes, it is index based. So definitely index will change, definitely this price will change. So as of now, if you see as based on the current index, it is going to be around 180 kind of realization we are able to get it. But definitely it change with the index.
Got it. Understood. And have we exported any of our caustic or any downstream product this quarter, especially caustic?
You mean in the market or captive, you are saying?
In the market, I mean export out, caustic exports outside India. Do we participate next?
Yeah, so because of the European current situation, has a lot of people are started exporting from India or any part of Asia to Europe because their realization is better. But there is a restriction also because you need to keep a storage and everything. The people who have an infrastructure, they are importing from Asia. And definitely we are part of some of the consignment which is going because, it is a bulk requirement and big vessel are going from India. So definitely we are part of some of the quantity which people has purchased. I think we have also exported out of that, to Europe. So yes, we have exported partial quantity, some of the quantity.
Okay. All right. And any comments on demand outlook from paper and textiles per se, particularly in India?
So textile is down. We expect that after Diwali, I think it will start moving upward direction because the cotton prices coming to a lower level now. Now people are expecting after Diwali they will start their production again. But paper situation is positive because white paper where it goes majorly, the hydrogen peroxide where we are expecting good demand in the worldwide. And the paper, all the paper companies or the paper chemical manufacturing companies, they are doing great right now.
Okay. And any details about the capex plans on the land that we've recently acquired?
Yeah. So see, recently which we have acquired a land that is we have kept in mind for next 10 years vision. So definitely next couple of years we are going to expand in the existing campus. We still have a land available and our focus is still to make more and more stronger our complete integrated complex, which is our philosophy. So we will move more and more downstream chemicals of chlorine or hydrogen peroxide or chloromethane. We are thinking in the existing complex in next couple of years. After that, we are thinking, we will start working on the new land which we have. And that is, the land which we are having, which we have procured, I think we are not going to do anything in next 3 years' time.
Okay. And is this right adjacent to our existing land?
Yes, it is 1 kilometer distance. So, there is a possibility, lot of integration if you wanted to do it from existing land also possible. But we have not kept anything in mind right now what we are planning to do it in that particular land. But we are evaluating right now and probably at appropriate time we will announce. But current next 2.5 years, 3 years, we are 100% our focus will be to make it stronger and stronger our existing complex.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rohit from Sunidhi Securities and Finance. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, hi sir. So, just few questions. First of all, as you mentioned that you are looking to go for the derivative products, especially from the chlorine side. So, since we have caustic soda and there will be surplus, obviously chlorine be available. But going forward, if we are looking for a derivative product for those, so are we in a position to use completely these chlorine, or would there be further requirement? I mean, just wanted to understand if any surplus chlorine would be required for those product, or it would be a specialized chlorine product, chlorine derivative. So I think our internal production would be sufficient for that.
Yeah. So our strategy is very clear. We have reached to 4 lakh ton capacity of caustic soda after the last phase of expansion. So there is, in next 3 years, our focus is 100% on the derivative side, where our priority is to consume chlorine up to 85% of what we are producing. So 50%, 85% of producing, including the pipeline customers. So, but the 15% chlorine we are going to send to our consumers continuously, because in the future, in the backup, if something goes down in the derivative segment, definitely overnight you can't find the customers for the chlorine like what Europe and US customers right now is facing. They need to immediately reduce their capacity of caustic soda because of the downstream unit are not doing growth. So that kind of situation will not arise. That's why we would like to keep 15 to 20% chlorine customers continuously. So I think 80% integration we are planning in next 3 years' time.
Okay. Secondly, on the export opportunity, I would say, looking at the current scenario after this Europe crisis, so are there any opportunity where we can do caustic soda export also, or I mean, is there that kind of demand arising what you are seeing right now?
Yes, there is an export opportunity right now as the situation is very bad in Europe. So there is Europe, and as well as Europe, because of the downstream companies are not doing great. So caustic production is not good enough. So there is an opportunity, but at least you can't do it justice to one vessel, because it is 10,000 ton kind of vessel size to export to make it feasible because of the current transportation cost. So yeah, 2-3 people combined, they are sharing the quantity, and people are doing it right now, export, and we are going to continue probably. And in India, from the western part of India, it has, I think, last 2 years people are doing this thing.
Okay. Because that is what I mean. I was just looking at the possibility and the feasibility that given the bulk commodity, is it feasible for us to do a large export also, given the current scenario? But obviously there would be heavy logistic costs also involved in that.
It is there, but if you see the current situation in Europe is worst. Okay. Their energy cost has increased to 5 to 7 times. And the transportation cost, after adding the transportation cost, still it is feasible to make sense that you ship it to Europe. Because the current caustic price in Europe is around 1,500 euro to 1,800 euro,
Okay. That's helpful. And lastly, on the utilization level of the recently commissioned plant, so where we have reached now, and when we can expect the peak utilization level for these products?
You are talking about epichlorohydrin and the Cpvc?
Yeah, ECH and Cpvc.
So as I mentioned, we have started contracting with the European customers and the US customers. We are adding more infrastructure in Europe and US, and I think we are going to sign a contract, because this is a contract season for them. Next year, entire year, they sign a contract in this season, and we are talking with them, and probably we'll start moving the volume from January onwards in Europe and as well as in US. And we will reach optimum capacity by Q4 end in ECH, and in the Q1 for Cpvc.
Sorry, come again. Q4 FY23.
By ECH and Q1 for Cpvc. Q1 FY24.
Okay. And just one more, if I can. Right now our revenue mix is like 75% is chloralkali and 25% is derivative downstream, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So with this focus for next 3 years on derivative product, so where we see these mix going forward in next 3 years?
So our focus and our strategy was very clear, because right in the future now we wanted to expand only in the derivative segment. So definitely the derivative volume and the revenue will increase compared to the current percentage. And our long-term goal is to reach around 50-50%. 50% will be chloroalkali and the 50% will be the derivative segment. For next 3 years, I'm talking, after that again. But next 3 years, we have vision. But looking at the current caustic prices, it is not allowed to move the ratio which we used to have in the past.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Neeraj Himatsingka from White Pine Investments. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I just had a question. Where does the bottleneck of caustic lie today in India? Ability to sell caustic or ability to sell chlorine? And can you give some color on that side as well?
So, in India is always the chlorine is a bottleneck,
Right.
If you want to, if you want to utilize proper your caustic plant, definitely you have to be integrated player. You have to be consume chlorine by downstream or by pipeline customers.
Right.
So that is the only thing. That is the only way you can increase your caustic consumption where India is, and you can cater to the Indian customers. So chlorine is always a bottleneck. Why? Because this is the only situation in some of the countries where the feedstock like petrochemical feedstock like ethylene and propylene is not available. Like country like US and Europe, the chlorine is not a bottleneck like what we have right now. Because of the current situation, recession situation, it is a bottleneck for the caustic production. But normally it is not in Europe and US, but India it is chlorine. Yeah.
So the related question one, will you be able to take advantage of the European price? How much demand of chlorine do you see in industry, not only over here, in industry, because of which the caustic production itself will go up in India?
Yeah, caustic consumption is very important, and at the same time, so India, if you see, we are dependent on the other. Our chlorine consumption is not depend on one particular chemistry, which is like in Europe and US, which is PVC or TDI or MDI. India, we have many derivatives. India has a different segment because India is more driven by the specialty chemical, more driven by the water treatment consumption, more driven by the PVC plasticizer user. So India is slightly different than the other part of the world where the chlorine is consumed. So our focus of the chlorine derivatives on the PVC consumption indirectly, because plasticizer which is used in the PVC industry, which is a chlorine derivative, which is called CPW, which is one of the major factors. Another major factor is a water treatment chemicals, which is like sodium hypochlorite or hydrochloric acid, which is used which is swimming pool, like where people use the chlorine derivatives chemicals. So all those chemicals are priority. Other than the chloromethane is another chemistry where India is very strong, because the pharmaceutical and the agrochemical companies, they consume a lot of chlorinated organic solvents. So see, India is slightly different than the other part of the world. Yeah,
I got it, but I just related question I am asking that where do you see growth in those production in future for those chemicals like water treatment, chloromethane, etc. And what range do you see in growth in percentage?
So I believe that in India, I keep telling that India is now in a stage where every year we require a sizable, like around 400 to 500 tons per day size of the plant is required in India because of the caustic consumption as well as chlorine derivative consumption. So India is at that stage where easily if one plant will come, it is absorbed because of the different chemicals are growing, consumption is growing in India. So yeah, and because of the PLI scheme, lot of companies are putting lot of capex, which some of the chemistry was not available in India, which is coming. Like other chloromethane, like chloromethane derivatives, like PTFE is another molecule where people are consuming lot of chloromethane. Another molecule like refrigerant gases, which is air conditioning. Now if you see in India, air conditioning consumption is also increasing, where people are consuming a lot of chloromethane. So yeah, consumption in India definitely it will grow further from here. Yeah, chlorine derivatives as well as caustic derivatives. So one sizable plant is required in India now.
And will you be able to take advantage of the pricing in the Europe because India is anyway, because you would not have immediately a place to sell your chlorine. So just wondering that.
Yeah, so yeah, that is true. For some point of time, definitely there is a overlap because everybody is not going in tandem along with the caustic soda and the chlorine consumption. Yeah, but there is always a possibility. But eventually, if you see in last 10 years or 15 years experience, I would say that it is absorbed some point of time. But yeah, there is a possibility for the short term. There is overlapping.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Chintan Chheda from Quest Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. So my first question is related to the chlorine production. So assuming at the
Chintan,
full
sorry to
capacity.
interrupt you. Your voice is coming muffled. May I request you to speak through the handset, please?
Is it better now?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Sir, so at full capacity of caustic of 421 KTPA, what would be our chlorine production? And currently in our how much is our chlorine integration? And what is our pipeline sales?
Yeah. So after the last phase of expansion, if we optimize, when we reach to optimum capacity, our chlorine consumption will be around 65%. So our goal is next 3 years we would like to reach at 80%. That is a goal, and towards that goal we are working, including pipeline customers. Yeah.
And currently, how much that would be?
It's around 60 to 65, including the ECH and Cpvc will reach to optimum level, by Q4 end.
Okay. And so during this Q2, what was the negative spreads that we were getting from the chlorine production?
It's 8,000 to 10,000.
Okay. And so what are the reasons for such high, say, negative spreads from the chlorine? Because I think so last quarter it was around 4.5 to 5 rupees a kilo.
I would say this is a peak, and from after Diwali it will further improve. I don't think so it is going further down. But it depends again on the caustic soda price will move again further. Then never knows. How desperate people are for the chlorine derivatives to sell in the market, in the world market.
Okay. And so the chlorotoluene and other couple of projects that we have identified, so will that take us to 85% kind of chlorine integration, or we need to identify some more products over there?
No. So chlorotoluene is one of the product, but so we need to do some of the other derivatives also in the future. Yeah.
Okay, so that will entail a separate capex plan. Is that right understanding?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Thank you. That's it from my side. All the best.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Alisha Mahavla from Envision Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for taking my question. So just a couple of clarifications. In some earlier calls, you mentioned that ECH plus QVC plus the additional caustic soda capacity can add about 1,000 crores to our revenue. At current realization, will this hold, or is this going to be higher? And are we expecting to utilize the ECH and Cpvc capacity by 24, or will it be over 2 to 3 years?
So I would say the caustic soda price is moving up. At the same time, as I mentioned, the chlorine derivative price is going down. So definitely, yeah. So more or less, the revenue will be adjusted. But yeah, so there is minor change in that. But we can still reach to close to 1,000 crore, including along with the new caustic soda capacity. Yeah.
Okay. And we're expecting this new capacity, largely which came in Q2, to be utilized over what period?
End of Q4 or beginning of Q1 next year.
No, I understand that is when the volumes will start contributing. What I want to understand is the incremental capacity that has come to realize, or rather, let me put this way, to realize the 1,000 crore potential, can we assume that it will all come in 24, or will this take time till 27 to be fully utilized?
It will start generating the optimum level from the Q1 to FY24 itself. So we have started getting the advantage from end of quarter 3 itself, but the optimum level I think we will reach in quarter 1. So I think in the FY24 itself you can see the reflection of optimum level of the capacity of all 3 projects.
Okay, understood. And also want to understand that while our EBITDA margin aspiration for full year continues to be 26% plus, H1 has been relatively strong. So any new one whether we want to change this number for full year?
So EBITDA margin, what you said is right. As for half year, it was around 33%. So if the current kind of situation revolves and goes around, then that kind of margin can be made. But again, time is uncertain, so it's difficult to say. But we state our guidance of 20% plus minus 2.
26 or 28?
28 plus minus 2, so 26 to 30.
Okay, understood. And if you can just re-share what is the kind of competitive intensity in the ECH segment, because I believe the demand was about 75,000 tons. Now with our capacity, what is the current demand like and how much supply is there currently in the market?
So yeah, in India, ECH is the first kind of manufacturing in India. So Indian consumption is going up. But there is an opportunity right now in Europe and US because of the high energy prices and the shortage of the supply chain. There is opportunity also in US and Europe. So currently we are evaluating where our company is going to get advantage in terms of the realization, and we are targeting those kind of customers right now.
Okay, but eventually we expect the demand to be this capacity to largely serve the domestic demand.
Yeah. So we use in Indian customers. Yeah, they are increasing, but we are going to be balanced. In the long term, if you say we are going to be around, depends on the realization, but definitely we are going to cater to our domestic customers as well as the export Europe and US as well.
Okay. And just one last question: what is the margin expectation for the new products ECH and Cpvc resin?
So margin, as I mentioned, right now the caustic soda price is very high. So because of that, all caustic consumption derivatives are not in a great margin. People are because disposing and people wanted to earn maximum margin which they are getting it from the caustic soda. So yes, currently, but the long run we are expecting we are able to get whatever we have given an expectation of 28 plus or minus 2, we will continue in the longer run. But the current situation in current environment, yeah, it is difficult because all the caustic soda price is abnormally high, and because of that there is a high impact on the derivative which consumes caustic soda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv from Vasuki India. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I can see in the financials that there is some redemption of preference shares of about 12 odd crore. Is this the one held by Meghmani Organics, and is there any roadmap for completing repayment of these and eliminating the intercompany transactions?
Yes, this is the Meghmani Organics Limited only, where we have paid 12 crore rupees in H1 ending 30th September. And with regard to roadmap, the company plan to redeem in next 5 years.
Okay.
Completely, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Asim Bharde from DAM Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Sorry if this was answered, but I wanted to understand your strategy of ramping up Cpvc resin volumes. Would it be more domestic focus, or would you tap into the export markets as well? And on the pricing bit, would you look to price this lower versus existing incumbents to gain market share, or do you think that's not necessary because of the supply-demand mismatch, at least in India?
So Cpvc is going to be 100% domestic oriented, and we are focusing on that part. And I think the volume which India's demand is increasing, and there is no manufacturing capacity available as of now. So we expect our focus is 100% on domestic only. And the CPVC is a very unique molecule where the 50% of the world demand is in India. So when the 50% of the world demand is in India, you don't need to go out from India.
Okay. And on the pricing bit, how would you want to deal with that? Any rough sense on that front?
So at par with the international suppliers, which is happening right now. So we are going to keep it with at par with the international suppliers. Definitely, plus or minus depends on the volume. We are able to do that. But yeah, normally it is at par with the international suppliers. We are going to keep it.
Got it. And secondly, and on the raw material level, I mean, what kind of sourcing have we tied up for it? And I assume you would be procuring PVC and chlorine, right? Or are you making PVC as well?
No, we are making chlorine and chlorine of our integrated complex. The PVC we are sourcing from outside. Yeah.
Okay, and that would be mostly from the domestic players itself, right? Or is there imports being tapped in that front?
No, currently we are importing, but in the future we may start from the domestic supplier as well, yeah.
Okay. And on CPVC pricing currently, would you be able to give a sense that has that come off in recent times, given that PVC prices have collapsed in the last 4 months?
So, CPVC has an anti-dumping duty, and so even though PVC price has gone down, so it is going to advantage to the manufacturing of CPVC manufacturing in India, because the CPVC price cannot go to a certain price.
Correct. But there has not been any pressure on the international markets. I mean, at the international market level, CPVC prices are still relatively firm, is it? Because I think eventually India prices will also get influenced by that, right?
So, in the whatever the manufacturers are there, even though they are in pressure, they have a limited capacity, and Indian demand is far higher than that. So, I don't think so it is going to happen the way you are explaining the situation.
Okay. Actually, it's not more of a theory. Basically, I just wanted to understand that right now what the current situation is. My takeaway is that there is no pressure on CPVC pricing as on date. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely, customer has a right to negotiate with us, but there is actually it is not actual pressure. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Thanks a lot for answering my questions.
Thank you. Next question is from the line of Vignesh Iyer from Sequent Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Yeah. This is regarding the new capacity that has come, as in 1 lakh ton capacity of caustic soda for Meghmani Finechem. Also, to the fact that Gujarat Alkali has almost in JV with Marico and captively as well, bringing out capacity of around 4.5 lakh ton. So I just wanted to know how would this create excess supply in the market by any chance, in such a way that the caustic prices might see some pressure maybe going down in quarter 3 or quarter 4?
Yeah, it's a good observation, but normally if you see in the history, people are announced the capacity and people are commissioning the capacity, but it will take time in the chemical plants to take time to optimize it. So, and then it depends, as I mentioned, it depends on how you are completely integrated in terms of the chlorine usage. So, every company has a different strategy in terms of the integrated complex and the downstream chemistry, and as well as the chlorine network. So, it depends on that. The situation will arise. What kind of situation will arise after some time. Demand is increasing. But as I mentioned, in India, every year we require one caustic soda sizable size plant, and it can easily absorb in terms of caustic and the chlorine.
Okay. Because the rationale behind this was because Gujarat Alkali, they don't connect call as well, but in the investor presentation they have shown that their caustic soda capacity is running at 110% capacity. So we can fairly assume that high amount of chlorine is getting absorbed. So that is why I was concerned if the new capacity of theirs means more or less it would be that way. But okay, but even if that is there, can you give me an idea of what is the demand, compounded annual growth for caustic soda in India? If you can give for next 3 years, 4 years, if you have got some internal calculations for that.
So it is very difficult, caustic soda is a very difficult industry because it is used in every small scale also. So we know the chloroalkali capacity when it is coming, but we don't know the caustic consumption, how many caustic consumption has increased the consumption in the last couple of years, or which we are going to do it. But normally we expect that as per the Indian economic GDP growth, the caustic demand is growing in India.
Okay, you cannot give me a number like 5% or 6%,
As per Indian GDP, it is a growth normally based on our past 15 years experience. Yeah, so it is kind of 7 to 8% growth is there in the caustic soda. But as chemical industries and specialty chemical companies and everything is growing, and the consumption is growing, definitely it is at par with the GDP growth.
Okay. So just last one question from my side. On part of chloromethane, where you can actually produce as chloroform as well, which has been used in a few gases which are eventually used in PTFE and fluoropolymer, which are as in the fluorine part of it is very much in demand today across 5G and solar. So are we contemplating anything similarly, or because MDC prices have some downside effect, and so are we contemplating that there is some possibility that we come up with a facility or something like that?
So as of now, as I mentioned, indirectly and directly, we have wanted to consume chlorine in next 2 years. But as of now, there is no we have not finalized anything which downstream of chloromethane or any derivatives which we will freeze. Once the board will be approved, I think definitely we will announce at the right point of time. But yeah, currently we are evaluating a different projects which are consuming the internal, which will increase the our completely integrated complex.
Right. Thank you. That's all from my side. All the best.
Thank you. A request to all the participants. Please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Dr. Amit Vora from the Homeopathic Clinic. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is related to this current global slowdown. Is there any effect of this global slowdown on our company, or you might see in future something like that?
Yeah, so because of the global slowdown, and definitely eventually it affects the prices of internationally whatever it is, and it is eventually affect and come down based on the current prices which is going down, all the chemicals. Definitely it affects us. At the same time, some positive like Europe situation, caustic, we are seeing the positive sign. So we are getting advantage of positive also. So yeah, there is an effect on the end application base, but yeah, global effect will be not different. Yeah, we are less impacted, but yeah, eventually it is impacted and the price will be reflected in the Indian environment or Indian chemical industry as well.
Thank you, sir. The sales have grown from quarter to quarter, but the profits haven't grown. So can you tell me what would be the reason for this? Margins also almost have been same 32% from last quarter as compared to this quarter. So what is the reason for that?
So if you see that way, the sales had gone up because the capacity. That is because of the pure high realizations that we have enjoyed. And in terms of the margin has slightly moved down Q1Q basis. That is purely because the realization, if you see the caustic soda realization has marginally had gone down, whereas the raw material price had remained intact in that category only. So in that way, the 35% which was last quarter, it has moved to 33%.
The margins.
Yeah. But the current margin which we are enjoying 33%, which is anyway it is it is on the higher side. Anyway, longer term you can consider 28 plus or minus 2% kind.
Yes. So my last point is that will you still stick to your target of 5,000 crore company by 2027?
Yes.
With the slowdown and all these things.
That is the primary thing, and we are working day in and day night. We are working on that line only, and our strategy is towards that line only, and we are still stick to the same target of FY27 will reach to 5,000 crore.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bobby J. from Falcon. Please go ahead.
I have a question on ECH. I didn't get the rationale
sorry, you're
why
not
you're
audible.
so... Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. No, we can't. We cannot hear you.
Sir, may I request you to speak through the handset?
Yeah, I am actually.
So sorry, but then your voice is not coming very clearly.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. The ECH, your strategy of selling it for exports as well as domestic, I'm not quite clear on that because the opportunity looks like it will be in India because that's one of the few countries where construction industry is actually growing. So why would you focus on exports when there's a global slowdown and PVC prices are already crashed? So what's your rationale for even focusing on exports?
See, as you rightly said, yeah, it is not, volume is increasing in India as well, but currently the environment in the international is different because of the high energy cost and in the chloroalkali industry is mismatch. So there is a high opportunity in Europe and US as well. So we are looking for both. We are working on the both strategy, domestic as well as export. So eventually,
I know sorry to interrupt. The energy crisis is only in Europe. It's not in the US. The US still has some of the cheapest energy prices in the world. So, and there the PVC prices are falling.
See, you are right, but the caustic price is up because of Europe. That's why like country like India and US, also the caustic and chlorine price is all-time high right now.
Right, but ECH prices won't be high because they are driven by the construction industry, right?
So that is not the only reason, because the caustic soda price is so high. So people wanted to, encash that situation. That's why the ECH and the PVC and all the chlorine derivative price is lower. If they don't produce or consume chlorine derivatives, then they are not able to produce caustic soda. So just to encash on the caustic soda, people are manufacturing and reducing the price of chlorine derivatives right now in the world.
So what is the differential between ECH prices in Europe and India? Is that a big differential after including freight costs?
It depends on the situation. In Europe is different and US is different. Every segment is different. US is only a single manufacturer for the ECH manufacturing. In Europe there is a couple of manufacturing. So yeah, the situation is different based on the how many competition you have and what is the restriction from the other countries you have. Yeah.
No. My question is not. My question is it that much more advantageous to sell in Europe versus India?
See, in terms of like revenue, as we have opened our plant, we would always like to diversify our business. So that's why we are going to cater to domestic as well as the export market. Now it depends on the realization. So looking at the current situation, we are getting a bit higher realization over there. But even if it's similar, we would like to keep diversified. So we have de-risked our business model in that way.
Okay, the ECH you're producing through glycerol, correct? Is in Europe they use propylene mostly, in the US. So does that give you an advantage?
Sorry, what was the question?
The ECH you're producing is through the glycerol route, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And in Europe they're using propylene mostly, or are they also using Solvay in Europe and US?
Europe and US always is propylene based because all the plants in Europe and US are very old plant. So the new technology is only coming in the Asian manufacturing. Yeah.
So does that give you a price advantage?
Yes, so there is no comparison, but all the new technology which is better in terms of environment, because it's better in terms of water consumption. So nobody is coming up with, in the current time, nobody is coming up with a very old technology which is propylene based right now in the world. So everybody is focusing in this line in the future, yeah. and which is the green
No,
side,
what I
greener technology. So definitely it is commercially feasible than the old technology. If you build up a new facility right now, that's why people are selecting this technology. Yeah, there is a lot of different advantage we have to manufacture from the glycerin compared to the propylene base.
So it gives you a cost advantage over propylene.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. See, if commercially it is not feasible, then people will not add the capacity the way it is increasing in Asia.
And I also understand there's a lot of exports from China of ECH. They're also exporting to Europe. How do you compare with them?
Yeah, it is going on, but that is a temporary phenomena, because I said caustic soda price is moving up, and that is the only reason people are moving and going out. But once the China domestic demand will pick up again, they will not export. You know, in the past, if you see 6 months back data, China was not able to export ECH much quantity because of the high demand of the domestic. So current situation is different. They started doing the export, but I don't think so it will continue for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I agree with that. But are you competitive currently with their prices?
Of course, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Pratiksha Daftari from Equirus Investments. Please go ahead.
My question is answered. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dipesh Sancheti from Manya Finance. Please go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations for the good set of numbers. And hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I just wanted to know how much did we buy the 2.989 lakh square meters of land, and how was it funded?
We have funded with the internal accruals only.
So it is completely purchased from the internal accruals only. Yeah.
Yeah, and can you quantify the amount?
It's approximately is 160 crore.
Yeah, 160 crore. It's
160.
160, yeah.
Okay. And what is the next line of expansion? I mean, since we already had a little bit of reduction in debt, as you mentioned in the starting comments, are we looking at any other next line of expansions? Because we have a land, and I mean, there must be some, flow to it.
Yeah. So, this current land what we have purchased, that is for not for immediate use. Currently, where we are, our campus, we wanted to make it stronger and stronger, and I think next 3 years we are going to expand in existing campus only. And after that, we will start using the new land which we are recently purchased. So yes, we have many downstream chemistry which I mentioned, based on the existing chemicals which we produce. We are working on that, and we will announce once the board will approve at the appropriate time.
Okay. That's it. These are my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Yogesh from Arihant Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for taking my question. I had one question on Cpvc. So just want to understand what would be the working capital requirement for in the Cpvc business? Is it low, high? What would be that requirement like?
Yeah. So, see, PVC business, when you buying a raw material is also on the you don't need you need to buy you need to pay in advance, and same time the raw material is also when we are selling CPVC also our target is to within 7 days maximum. So so normally 30 days kind of inventory we have to carry, and so that kind of working capital will continue. Yeah. So it is not much higher. It is in line with the existing which we have in the inventory, existing business cycle. Yeah. So which is not something abnormal. Yeah.
And last question, basically, is there any possibility of Cpvc cannibalizing the PVC market going forward?
See, PVC is a completely different application, and the Cpvc is a hot water pipe application. So hot water pipe application, there are no another usage. You have to use a Cpvc. There is no replacement. PVC you cannot use. But yeah, many high-end apartments and everybody, they also use for the cold water application the Cpvc pipe. So there is always, but it is a niche segment where they are converting PVC, also PVC into the Cpvc application. But for the hot water application, it is going to continue. So, PVC can be replaced by Cpvc in some of the high-end only. Otherwise, people don't want to use Cpvc everywhere except the hot water application. Yeah. But in some of the companies, some of the high-end apartments, people use for the cold water application as well. So in the cold water, yeah, there is a possibility to cannibalize PVC.
Last one question. The short-term borrowings has actually increased in one half compared to FY22. So I think that would be connected to working capital requirement. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's increased a little bit because this is, with the new plant which we started, new products. So inventory level, the operation has increased, overall operation has gone up. So that is a major reason compared to last year, the working capital, short-term borrowing has gone up a little bit.
So what would be the current working capital days for the overall company?
Around 55 to 60 days, 45 to 50 days total for all the products.
All the products, and it will be maintained for the next 2 years also in the same range, 55 to 60 days.
Yeah, in the same range. Yeah.
There are more than 20 parties in the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to Mr. Kaushal Soparkar for closing comments.
Good evening, everyone. In conclusion, with all this, we are moving in line with our commitment of long-term goals of 5,000 crore by 2027 and with focus on environment and sustainability. Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today. If there are still unanswered questions, please feel free to reach out to our IR team. Thank you, everyone. Happy Diwali and Happy New Year to everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Go India Advisors, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.
There are more than 20 parties in the conference.